family and friends. My name is Jules,
And I'm Lorraine.
and we want to talk to you a little bit about our trip we took um, in 2007, and the excitement of that trip spawned the interest in making the couple Lego builds that I did, and of Notre Dame, and also the diamond painting. When this came out, that clicked right away with me. So we'll talk about those things. My brother and I just decided, and this is, we don't have a pile of money to say, hey, let's go and travel. We haven't traveled all over the world, but we've taken some targeted trips. But that was a trip that we said, you know what, it's our heritage. And both my brother and I did a lot of work to try to find out, our connections and where we come from and everything. It's same with my wife, with the Gerard side. Hers was the Gerard, mine was the Tailleur. And through that, it was kind of fun and exciting because we learned a lot of things. But one of the things we did want to do is get a feel for France. So um, him and I just started on it. And once we get on something, it's amazing. Though he lives in Manitoba, so I don't see him very much. But we connected on that occasion to kind of say, let's take a look at this. Could we do something like this? So what we did is we looked at France and looked at maps and looked at different things. We said, you know what? Let's plan our own itinerary. Oh, that's a lot of fun, I tell you. You have to do your homework. You have to be prepared for things that don't go right, which we had some of those, but on the most part, it went quite well. We pre-booked the TGV train, which is amazing to travel on that. And it was fun. It was quick and fun, and it was very relaxing. More relaxing, I got to tell you, way more relaxing than a flight.
Oh, for sure.
You could even
Yeah.
sleep on there. you
Yeah.
you know you could actually do that and there's no click 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 because these are long tracks and they're high speed, and so it's just smooth, like really really smooth. So what we did is we flew into Paris. Um, we went to Paris a couple times because we had to come back to Paris to go further south. But our idea was to go north, target some specific places to see, and then from there come back down to Paris where all the big stations are, and then take the train and start going south. And that's what we actually did. The targeted places we wanted to go up to northern and Normandy in the northern part of France because of some important things that were up there. And sometimes you just do things because you think, well, we see so much of this in history, like Vimy Ridge, an important turning point, especially for Canada in World War One, and seeing Cayenne, which was bombed enormously in that period of time, in World War Two especially was bombed, and then going up to Normandy, and it's the little things that you remember a lot. Normandy, Canada had its beach that it had to get to, and there's an excitement there because that beach is called the Juno Beach, and so we wanted to go up there, see what it was like, and it's very nice up in the Normandy region. A lot of old homes and cool stuff to see, and of course it's right on the water, so it's beautiful up there. We had a good time. So it's like up in the English Channel, I think. They crossed the English Channel to hit the beaches and that. Some fun things that we did when we went up there is one of the things is one of the little kids, French, and was all excited that we were Canadians because we said, we wanted to see the tradition. By the way, this stretched our French learning. We hadn't spoken French. We never did it in the home, but we took a little bit of French in high schools.
But it's amazing how quickly you catch on and you're able to converse pretty fluently by the end of the trip.
Yeah, we were doing pretty good actually. We were
Yeah.
able to maneuver ourselves. As a matter of fact, we got in trouble in one of the areas because we had a plan. See, I got a lot of stories here, but this is one of the funny plans. Is so Lorraine, Um, never drove a standard, and I never drove a standard. Leonard, my brother, did, and sister-in-law didn't, but our niece did, and our son didn't wasn't driving at the time. But the niece had driven. But these were such weird Italian car. We were in a bottom parkade and we couldn't get it out. Um, First started with her, and then my brother tried, and we couldn't get the vehicle. And this was supposed to be our vehicle, and that was specifically just for that trip that we were doing. That was the northern side. We were going to go and look at a bunch of different stuff. Um, and Vimy Ridge was the key target for that. So we couldn't get it out. So we went back, told the guy we can't do it, and we had to turn in the vehicle and say we can't do it. And Lorraine said she heard him say,
Yeah, my sister-in-law and myself, we heard the rental fellow say "maudit Canadien," meaning damn Canadians. So it's almost like, okay, so we don't know how to drive a standard, please.
much easier to drive, and that's what my niece and brother had driven, and so fidgety and crazy. Anyway, so that was that story. And but we anyway when we went up there, this little kid was all excited that we were Canadians, and it was like wow, like he was really excited about it, and it kind of made you feel good that with the heritage that we had, and Americans and Canadians and Brits, got to those beaches, and a lot of lives were lost. And Lorraine's father was in World War II and traveled with the Canadian regiments all over the place there. I'm trying to put something together on that to sort of show a little bit of the story. Um, but anyway, so we came back down. So I don't want to talk too much about that. I'm going to show you our canvas here, but came back down. So what ended up happening is we took the on again, off again bus, and we were able to see a lot of sights in Paris. And when you've got it go quickly, we had 10 days to do this whole trip.
Yeah,
That's not much.
no, not at
We're
all.
scrambling a lot, right? So it's a good thing there's a train à grande vitesse. That's a TGV fast train. That's what they are. Thank God we had that, but we didn't have it on the whole trip because in France it doesn't extend all the way down south because you don't want real fast trains, or maybe they do in the future. I don't know. But so what we did, went down to Lyon, which is a great city in itself, and had a nice little time there. And then we went further south into Provence, and that was beautiful. There was even an old Colosseum in there built by the Romans. It was really cool. And we went to see a winery, which was fantastic. We brought back some wine from that. And Chateauneuf, that's what it was called. We went to Avignon, which is kind of interesting because we didn't know this. That was a papal palace at one time, for short lived, but it was a time there, and that was quite a place. It was huge.
And
Um,
one thing I remember too is at the Pont Avignon, we actually sang the song in French. So that was kind of neat for us as well.
yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever heard it. Okay, enough of the singing part there. So that was fun, and but really one of our really enjoyable things is after all the running around was actually Nice, because you're sitting on the Mediterranean and you're having a nice lunch and everything, and you're overlooking the Mediterranean. It was very, very nice. We had that in the evening. We were just sitting there and having some drinks, little snacks and stuff, and just talking and enjoying ourselves. So that sort of culminated the trip, and then we went back up north to Paris. And but I wanted to show you the canvas I just completed. So this is sort of in memory of that. Like I said, all these have sort of memories and everything. So Lorraine, if you want to
Look it up.
chirp in on any parts of this, um, the canvas is 98 by 70, so it's not giant canvas, but it is large. The enjoyment I had of this was they did a really nice job of the angle because where they are, the Seine is down below the river, and you see these boats that come along the Seine and follow along, and it's really cool. And of course, you have to have the Eiffel in there. I did a little bit of work with the canvas just to amplify a little bit with these little gold crystals because it would always at night shine off gold. Lighting would be really nice. The cool thing about this is you don't often see lighting like this where they show you the lighting at night and there's a full moon out, and so you're still getting the glitter of the plants and trees and stuff here too. So that's sort of the canvas. And like I said, I really enjoyed this canvas. It's not that many drills for a big canvas. It had 65 drills. So that wasn't that many. So that was the canvas. How long it took me? About a couple months to do it, on and off.
I'd say even less than that, yeah, because you had on and off
On
times.
and off, yeah. Okay, so that's the canvas. Okay, you could take that out. I'm just gonna move my Lego in here. Okay, and I'll put that down a little bit just so you get a good view of it. Try to get a good view of it. So I just wanted to show you these, um, and a little bit of history too. I mean, the reason Notre Dame was so important is was built in 1163, 1163. It's a long time back, right? It's now a heritage site, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was designated in 1991. It's more of its historic significance. I mean, Napoleon was even crowned in there, so it's interesting some of the stories. Um, Charles de Gaulle celebrated things. They celebrate a lot of stuff here. The time when we went was interesting because we went on a day we didn't even know this, where they're actually celebrating Mary, and they had a big celebration in there, and they even come out with a whole parade and the works. It's a big time, big occasion for French. Um, so what I did, got kind of excited when I saw that there's this company, the first company that came out was called Dragon Block. In January of 2023, they came out with about 1,400 pieces, or 1,380 or something like that, for very cheap. I think it was $56 for that one right there. And you can see it's got a lot less features because it's a fairly small one. Um, but it was still nice, right? And so that came out, and I built it and had fun with this. And I thought, well, that's it for Notre Dame. You're not going to see that because Lego never typically got into that kind of stuff, especially religious or whatever. Um, then they did come out. So Lego came out with this one. Of course, Lego did it really nice. They had 4,300 pieces here. Cost was much more expensive, but is it worth it? Well, yeah, if you want a nice portrayal, this is a beautiful portrayal. Um, you can see how big it is. Um, look on the side here. There's a lot of little details in here. I mean, it was a fun build. The only thing that I want to do with this one is get a lighting package because it does have like little glass all along, and I would like to see how a lighting package does with this. So there's the whole thing.
Yeah. And this is really a wonderful gift that we received from our son Matthew and his girlfriend Katie for our birthdays.
And it's kind of special because Matthew was with us on that trip, so a lot younger, but memories that he'll always remember as well. So that's sort of the little history thing I wanted to give you. I'm just So, like I said, I like it when you can give a little bit of a history thing to go with it. Why is it significant? Why did we do this? And why I built these? And then also had to do the canvas. And Fran- France tugs at our hearts that way,
For
in
sure.
that it's our heritage.
Yeah.
So again, I want to thank you for coming along on this little journey, and we'll have a lot more. If you don't know, we didn't. I don't think we ever told anybody, but we've been married 50 years, so it's been a long marriage, and we've encountered and done a lot of things. So that was one of our features of our life, was the 2007 trip to France. So again, thank you very much for joining us,
Thank you so much.
and take care and have a good day. And thank you for joining us today.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye bye.